Okay then, so street talk. And like I said, hopefully a short one today because we've got this wedding to get to. So 2 hours on the clock.
What we should do is record this and do it back in double time and then we'll finish when we need to.
Do you reckon? Is that how it works? I don't know. I've managed to... I had a real mess with the stories this week, mostly because of the stuff with Abi and Carl and Hope and Steve and Cassie was kind of mixed together and it kind of wasn't... I've separated them out in the end, but I've got no guarantees that this is going to sound anything but... yeah, a bit clumsy when we get to that bit, but I do apologise in advance. We're going to start off with the Todd, Theo, Noah story. The No I Don't story is coming up first. Then we have got, well, I preemptively called it Swengagement again, which I think we called it before when Lisa proposed to Carla, but there was no proposal yet again today, was there? They're keeping people hanging. We all know it's gonna happen. I was genuinely shocked that there was no proposal today.
What you got to do is enjoy the ride, okay? Enjoy the ride.
I kind of am as well.
Don't be so excited about the destination.
I mean, it's still, quite early for them to be getting engaged, isn't it? But I can't think it's going to be too long. But I know that a lot of the Swala fans were getting quite excited about this online this week. And they were saying, is it going to be Carla to Lisa? Is it going to be Lisa to Carla? Are they going to do a double proposal? And I was like, Kate and Rana already had that one tied up, actually. Yeah. Thank you very much. But then we got nothing.
This is the problem with getting yourself spoiled. Like going on and finding out spoilers because they'll give you misinformation and misdirect you sometimes.
I know, totally. I would have. I don't know. I enjoyed today's Carla bits in the episode anyway. Just whether there was a proposal or not.
It was fun seeing Carla squirm.
Yeah, it was.
She was completely on the back foot, and she's so not used to being like kind of like a giddy schoolgirl, but also like a bit like
She likes to be in control, doesn't she? She's
having to cede it to
in
the
uncharted
situation.
territories, here, isn't she? So we'll do that storyline second. Then we've got the story, which is only a short one, about Steve and Cassie moving in together. Briefly, I'm calling it La Casa de Cassie, Su Casa, Steve. That's Spanish.
I don't speak that sort of Spanish.
Then we'll have a little bit of the other half of this, which is the family affair. I've also, just because it's a silly joke, calling it Tyrone's cheeks spread as well.
Michael loves this pun. He's come up with his pun 3 times.
His butt cheeks were not spread at all this week, were they? Arse cheeks. Sorry, British podcast. Will they be? Won't they be? Who knows? But I do feel bad for Hope that her phone's
sacrificed.
Yeah, by Carl. That's harsh, but this is what you get for not backing up to the cloud. Also, what you get for not monitoring your child's technology use.
Why on earth does Tyrone not just take the phone and delete it himself? I do not understand why. How old is Hope?
Well, she's like, 15 is she, maybe?
I know that children's privacy is really important, and you would never read someone's diary. This is not a diary. This is a device that is capable of showing you the most horrific things that mankind's ever seen.
I know.
This is why we've got this stupid privacy law and everybody's getting VPNs to protect the children from pornography because parents can't be bothered to check on what their kids are doing on the internet.
I know, and this week Tyrone was just so laissez-faire. He was like, you delete it, just make sure it's definitely deleted.
Yeah, and being
hideously
so
embarrassing photo of me.
Where he's like, you can't do this and you can't do that, and Hope's like, yes I am.
Well, I thought they were going to go down the route of, she's deleted it, but it's backed up to the cloud. Because I don't know whether... does everybody do that these days?
For the purposes of this storyline, the cloud does not exist because I genuinely was expecting them to all be proud of them. And also...
But I'm sure it did. And I'm going back a long time now. That didn't... When Tyrone was being abused by Kirsty, I'm sure there was something there about a photo that was taken. I don't remember the details of it. And then it turned out that it was backed up somewhere. And that was going on like 13 years ago, 13 years ago.
What do you think Hope's passcode is on her phone?
Is it going to be a number?
Well, exactly.
999, that's the number that I associate with Hope the most. I'm
just imagining Carl trying to hack into her phone and having 2 guesses and then the third one's correct.
Well, I think maybe it's just like the numbers that coincide with the letters FIRE on the keypad, possibly.
Right, okay. It took me a second because it's 8 o'clock in the morning.
9 o'clock in the morning, Gemma.
Alright, I can't do maths, okay?
I know, it's fine. Aadi the Aadi is coming.
A bard.
Hot on the heels of Dylan the villain, we have Aadi the Bardi now, and he's certainly been painted out to be one this week. That was another episode. That was another reason why today's episode didn't go down hugely well with me. That we did not get any Alahan action, did we?
No,
sadly,
Alahan action.
And Debbie's been a right arse this week, isn't he? He's been a bigger arse than Tyrone's bum cheeks. Tell ya.
Do you reckon that we had a discussion in this house? Do you think Tyrone's bum cheek photo was a stunt bum?
I haven't seen whether... I was going to look, but I assume I would have seen it anyway, about whether Alan Halsall has said that was a stunt bum or the fact that it wasn't mentioned, I'd have thought maybe...
What do you give it out of 10?
You're the girl. You can rate people's bums.
Excuse me. You can rate... It doesn't matter what your sexuality is. A bum is a bum.
Well, we were also discussing whether or not, if that was Alan Halsall's bum, like, was it a waxed or shaved bum?
Well, I mean, who's it? Said he had a hairy bum. Kevin said,
Kevin told...
I've seen your hairy bum crack. I'm like, I don't think you have, Kevin, because that was smooth as a baby's head.
You're going to say smooth as a baby's bum then, weren't
well,
you? Don't want to use the same word twice.
You can't use the same use twice.
Well, Alan Halsall, I think, is naturally a hairy chap, isn't he? But he has had some waxing on his chest in the past.
You're saying to me about this, like, and you're the one saying you couldn't possibly score because you're a man.
Well, there was...
Yet you know his intimate grooming details.
No, I know that there was a story once where Maria had to, or tried to wax Tyrone's back in the back of the salon. Don't
confuse the actor and the character.
Well, I would assume that they had the same amount of hair coverage.
Do you think that they were like, Alan, we need to dehair your bum for this photo because it's pre-watershed, so I don't want to scare the grandmas.
I don't know. But I think I don't know whether it was a stunt bum or not, but I think we've given far too much airtime for deciding it, to be honest.
It's fine. The question is, if it is a stunt bum, is it a plastic stunt bum that Alan Halsall wore, or is it an entirely new bum on an entirely new person?
Oh, that's a good point. I wonder whether you can get them. You know, like with Millie was buying the fake bumps.
Yeah.
A couple of weeks ago for the pregnancy. Yeah, maybe. Just slip it down your trousers.
I'm more inclined to think that it was a fake stunt bum. Not to necessarily spare any blushes from the actor, but because I can't imagine, and maybe they do this, but I just can't imagine calling Alan Halsall in for a photo shoot to get his arse out. I mean, it's a waste of his time, isn't it? Like, anyone's arse will do.
But he was there. He was filming a scene.
Yeah, but was his arse out in the scene?
I don't know.
I don't think it was. It was just a photo. That photo wasn't taken during that scene, was it?
No, I think it was, because Abi and Carl were there
then
in
it
the
would have been
background,
too much of a faff.
I don't know. Like,
well, it wasn't Carl or Abi's arse, was it?
Let's just say that probably Alan Halsall would have been given the option about whether he wanted a stunt bum or not, because I trust that Coronation Street wouldn't have said...
Yeah, but now you've opened another can of worms, right? Because if it turns out he is Alan Halsall's bum... What does it say about him that he had the opportunity to say no, and he was like, no, I want my arse to be on television?
This is all very many good points we're raising here, but
I want everyone to see this hairless arse crack of mine.
Well, yeah, maybe he's put a lot of work into it.
Electrolysis.
It's like when the actors have like topless scenes, don't they? They like pump some iron in the gym for a week or so beforehand to
dehydrate
get a little
yourself.
Bit of sculpting in there.
Don't
maybe
drink or eat for like a day.
Nah. Who knows?
Was that the bum of a man who has fasted?
Could be.
Anyway, move on.
Moving on. That's far too long talking about
that entire
storyline
now.
We had a little bit. Oh, Shuttleworth a punt was Jenny's fancying George.
Oh gosh, I forgot about that.
Yeah, I know. I wish. Come on, we've been waiting so long to see some Jenny, and then she's barely in it this week. But I did enjoy Glenda's mate, Sandra, was it? I can't remember. But yeah, it felt like very little there. There was also a bit more of DD stuff today, which kind of dragged the episode down as well for me a little bit. And then we'll finish off with a little bit of dementia, because that also returned in its glory, all its glory into the end in today's episode as well. Right.
Michael, is your favourite word of the week Kafkas?
Kafkas. We are hearing that quite a lot at the moment, aren't we?
Kafkas. It's breathing down my neck.
I just can't be doing with this Todd and Theo story. It's really, really bringing me down just how uninterested and dull I'm finding it. What about you?
I'm finding it fascinating, like when you move a rock and there's weird creatures and you're kind of disgusted and you hate them.
What's this? A load of woodlice? Oh no, it's just Theo.
I just hate Theo so much. I find it fascinating to watch him.
He was quite a star in this week's episodes, wasn't he? He was thrust into the limelight this week. Him and Gary's new bromance that's going on.
Oh, him and Gary, you better watch out. What a duo those are.
I did wonder at one point this week whether Theo was going to, stroke his arm or something.
Well, he's
or
so
just try it
naturally
on.
charismatic, isn't he?
Did you notice that they even had the same top on Wednesday?
They did, didn't they?
Close enough.
They had plaid, the same plaid.
Yeah, do you think they phone up each other in the morning and coordinate wardrobes?
Probably.
Do you want to do this story?
Yeah, I'll do it.
You do it. Go on then. So
right.
What's been going on at number 11?
So Theo has got the phone off the phone on Monday from the police because they're dropping this Aadi investigation about him pushing him over.
Oh, there's so much. They're just building up these big cliffhangers and dramatic tense. Oh no, what's going to happen? And then it just gets dropped.
There's nothing. It's not been dropped.
Story must move on.
Kafkas is still breathing down his neck about it.
They're breathing down the neck about.
Well, because he's been accused of something.
Yeah,
I'm sure
see
they
my
know
kids
this
again?
now. They know this as well. So yeah, the Kafkas' children something or other to do with court liaison.
Family.
Children and flipping children and stuff is what it stands for.
Flipping children and stuff. There we go.
Yeah. So Theo also makes it clear to Todd that he does not want him hanging around with Billy anymore. And when he's saying, it wasn't anything, he's like, don't negate my feelings. And glares at Todd as he heads out.
I was definitely hoping for a bit more, because I haven't even called this one the Undertaker under the thumb this week, because there wasn't a whole lot of manipulation of Todd this week, was there? I was hoping, I want to see him be the victim, but this week it was more, can we get some sympathy going for Theo here, wasn't it? And I was like, no, I don't want to have sympathy for Theo.
I don't know if it is.
I want to be throwing rotten tomatoes at him.
I think it's really interesting because they don't seem to have anybody on Theo's side. I don't think anyone likes him. Any viewers or anyone. I bet loads of people can sympathise with him, and I feel the same way. But equally, I don't care. So
I've not seen a whole lot of positivity about.
I think it's fine. I hope they're not trying to make people feel bad for him because it's failed miserably. I'd rather think that they knew what they were doing and they knew that we would all feel this way about them.
I genuinely, when he had his meltdown middle of this week, or was it Monday? I can't remember. Find out in a sec, I guess. I did feel somewhat sympathetic for him, but
what meltdown?
When he had his, I'm going to hide in the factory and cower in the corner.
No, I'm sorry. I feel like, what's the word? I feel like a detached. I understand this is bad. I would feel, but I don't actually feel anything. He's just annoying.
This story.
I'm sorry if that makes me a bad person. I'm not going to pretend.
No, I don't wonder. They used to film it 3 weeks in advance back when I first started watching it, and they would have known that the story's really going down like a lead balloon pretty soon after they.
Is it? I know, but the thing is though, you say this, and loads of people are saying what I'm saying, but is it not engaging? I think so. I enjoy hating Theo.
Parts of it are, but today's follow-up was
cathartic when something bad happens to him. So, on the floor in the precinct, Todd finds a flyer for Noah's traditional family values church, because apparently now he's started his own church.
Yeah.
Which is bizarre because we never got this before. I feel like this is another case of Corrie going back on what it had already established, because didn't we get introduced to Noah by Billy because Noah worked at his church in some capacity?
I'm not sure.
As some kind of behind the scenes.
We might have assumed that, but yeah, he's got his own branch of it, hasn't he?
Well, okay, so
he uses that branch to flog gay
this must be a new church, right? Because why would Billy be involved in a guy who'd started a homophobic church? It doesn't make any sense. Must have all just come out. So he's got this family values thing, right? Which apparently, to Noah, family values is stealing another man's family, because he's on the front of this flyer with the Silvertons.
It's, that flyer is tantamount to promoting adultery, isn't it?
Yes, it is. It really is.
You fed up with your family, come to my church. We have anybody, the swingers church.
Here's someone else's wife and her children. So Todd shows the leaflet to Theo and he's really dejected and he's like, oh, stealing my family. If only you hadn't made it so easy, Theo, by being a big arsehole. So
They just go.
They go to the lunch. They go to lunch. Theo's late, so Sarah invites Todd to come and sit with her, and then he gets a call from Theo saying, "I'm not coming. Gary's got a job."
I was expecting what's his face, Theo, to come in and catch Todd and Sarah together and not being happy, because he was like saying, "Oh, stop hanging around with your exes."
Yep.
And I thought that they were going to go down the route that he was so insecure that he wouldn't even let him sit at a booth with Sarah Lou anymore.
I think that wouldn't be without the realms of possibility.
It
to
happens.
Be jealous, yeah. Huh? So we had some weird experimental directing on Monday again.
Yes, we did, didn't we?
Crossfade, camera pans.
It was all blurring out all over the place.
Hated it.
Well, there was that, and I think this was Mondays as well. The stuff with Amy and Aadi, or the extreme close-up.
Oh, extreme!
I didn't particularly mind that, to be honest.
I really hated it. And I bet the actors didn't like it either.
I know, you got to be warned. At least they didn't have the same guy filming it when they had Tyrone's bum crack, couldn't they? Just imagine an extreme close-up on that. You'd be able to read the label.
It didn't add anything to the scene, and it was like the most extreme close-up. Like, I don't want your chin or your forehead. I just want your mouth and your eyes and your nose.
The windows to the soul. Honestly, I didn't mind that at all, but that's because I'm so fully invested in this Aadi and Amy relationship. Pointlessly, I know. That was like, yes, this is really intense scene, isn't it?
Yes, show me her face.
But the blurring camera transitions, that can get in the bin, honestly. Seriously.
So we've crossfade, like I said, to Theo, who's not actually on a job for Gary. He is throwing things around, having flashbacks about people saying he's disgusting.
Yes. He was having echoey thoughts in his head, wasn't he?
His wound on his wrist.
Oh, he was flicking his elastic band like Billy-O. I think that they should have just done an edit of that where they had clips from our podcast where he was listening to that saying, "We hate Theo. Theo's useless. Boring. Switch off every time Theo comes on. Let's fast forward through the Theo scene." Somebody needs to make that.
Just somebody reading Twitter posts.
Yeah. He's like, "What do you mean people are only talking about Carla and Lisa? Where's all the online discourse about our story?"
Yeah, I think maybe he might take it even more personally, because all of this stuff obviously is about his sexuality, whereas I dislike him as a person. And I know him. And I specifically dislike him. Not everybody like Theo, just Theo himself. Would that make you sadder to hear that?
He's obviously, all joking apart, flashing back and remembering what he was told during his conversion sessions when he was quite young, wasn't he? He was sort of 13, 14, 15 or so. I can't remember whether he said it this week.
Yeah, because I was confused because I thought Noah and Theo were at a very similar age, which changes everything in my head, really.
But I still think it could have happened, because if, say, Noah had been a pastor or whatever,
maybe he was
youth
like
worker
young,
when he was 18,
like
19, and Theo was
if they're the same
mid-teens.
age, to me it's different. But if Noah was slightly older, then
I don't imagine there's a whole lot between them.
I still think that Noah's got his own skeletons. So anyway,
I think that's probably how it's all going to end, to be honest. Maybe Danielle's going to find something else about
Danielle's like, oh, another one? So he starts wrecking the place, and then we find Gary finding him hunched on the floor, looking sad, and having
bleeding
wrecked
from
everything,
the wrist.
and telling Gary not to tell anybody, or especially Todd, about this. And Theo opens up to Gary about his conversion therapy when he was 16. And then he says, Noah said he did it because he was my friend. And how am I supposed to sit back and do nothing when I know he's living with my family? And Gary's like, manly, supportive hug. Let's go and have a beer. So they feel much better when he goes to the pub. And Todd comes in because he'd been ditched by Theo. And he's like, oh, I see. You didn't want to come to lunch with me, but you're out drinking with your friend. And he says, well, I can play games. I'm really good at them. Todd
was great on Monday because he was sassy, and he found a little bit of that. You know, he's not completely under the thumb at this point.
He asserted himself.
He did. He ended up going out on the town, didn't he? And I was like, yeah, you go, Todd.
Well,
but I think I was wondering whether it was gonna, bite him in the bum when he came back.
It will always come back to you in a relationship like this. Mm. So Todd goes, and Theo says to Gary, I don't want to tell him about my feelings because he might feel less of me. And then Gary tells Theo that Eileen married Phelan, So the family has had some pretty traumatic times.
Yeah, Monday's episode had a few callbacks, didn't it? I think even like Paul Connor got a mention by Carl
at
one point
it
when
did.
they were talking about the bins or something. Yeah.
So Theo comes home, wants to talk to Todd, but Todd is like, nope, going out, see you later.
I would also have thought that it would have come up earlier in the relationship between Todd and Theo that his mum was married to notorious serial killer Pat Phelan. Is that the sort of thing that you... Maybe not a first date bit of trivia about your family, but you'd have thought, they've been seeing each other for a good few months now. You'd have thought it would have been brought up. Don't you think?
Yeah, I guess so. I don't know how much I would really open up, but then people move very quickly in relationships on the show, don't they?
Yes, they do.
So, Theo punches the door after Todd leaves, and he comes back. He hasn't had a very long night out because it's 8:15. And Theo asks him to sit down so they can talk. He says, look, that flyer did a number on me. I snapped. I trashed the builder's yard. I'm really sorry. Here's my poor hand. And Gary helped me and told me to talk to you. And Todd's like, I'm so sorry. I had a rubbish time. But I'm glad you didn't beat Noah up. So evening time, Theo goes to see Gary to say thanks for all your manly support. Maybe we should go and beat Noah up.
It's not Todd's fault, really, for bringing up the idea.
And Gary's like, you know what? Maybe I'll do it. I'll beat him up for you.
Yeah, Gary is such a good chap.
He is a really solid man.
I think that it's so funny because Gary's character has just been up and down, and he just can't stay away from
drama and crime.
Yeah,
I love him.
This recent bout of boorishness has come on from his insecurities about being beaten up by Lou, hasn't it? Yeah,
that's a really good... I really like the fact that Corrie has laid the foundations for this with that storyline.
I mean, she did whack him with a pole. I think man or woman, I don't know whether there's so much to feel bad about.
Exactly. And he was attacked from behind by her, and then he went and attacked Noah from behind.
Yeah.
Because Noah said he didn't see him.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Unless he's lying, and he does know it's Gary. But then Gary's hardly going to say, I didn't attack you from behind. Oops. Right, so Wednesday.
Yeah, I don't mind how they've tried to make Gary look like he's got a reason for why he's
I think it's good. So Wednesday it is Maria and Gary's Shersha Rings 5-year anniversary. Congratulations.
That's not bad for a Corrie married couple at the moment, is it? 5 years. Yeah. I mean, how many of those years they've actually been on screen together and had scenes and storylines? That's another matter entirely.
They've grown on me, I tell you.
Yeah. So yeah, that was 5 years ago showing your rings, and this time now it was nearly showing an arse crack. So
beautiful. This show's got it all. So Gary gets a text from Theo saying, are you serious about sorting out Noah? So Theo is with Todd, still banging on about Kafkas and all this stuff, and Todd's saying it's going to be fine. But then at the yard, Theo tells Gary we should probably not do anything to Noah now.
Well, he doesn't want to risk...
Kafkas.
Yeah.
So Gary says,
Kafkas.
No, we're going to beat him up. Bullies need teaching a lesson. I'm going to put the frighteners on him. And then Theo's like, but what about Kafkas? And Gary's like, I don't care about this flipping children association.
He just wants to feel more like a man again by beating someone else up.
Honestly, if he wants... I think Theo's the biggest bloke on the street at the moment. He should beat him up.
Yeah.
I don't think Noah's a great prize for, your wall of trophy heads, is it?
Not really, but you're right. If you were to take down Theo...
Maybe he's going to have to protect
assert
Todd.
His dominance and his just alpha maleness on
Maybe
the street.
He should just wee on him.
Do you reckon?
Works for dogs. Right, so Maria's trying to find a card for Gary. She goes to the cabin set, doesn't she?
Who?
Maria.
Yes, she does, yeah.
We get to see the cabin set with Jenny in it.
Well, we saw it last week.
I know, we get to see it again. And they're going through all these rubbish cards, and Jenny's like, yeah, they're...
I would say, and I don't know whether this is bad to say it, that I've been looking forward to seeing the cabin again, but it is a bit of a naff, tired set, isn't it?
No, it's what a corner shop looks like.
I know it is, but it's really sad. It's what like a failing corner shop that's desperately trying to cling on to business looks like.
What do you want it to look like? I'm going to say I'm fed up with all these super slick, out of the glossy magazine houses everybody has now.
It's just a bit sad, and it probably does. Well, it does reflect
It's
real
not
life
sad.
corner shops. But in the other side of my head, I'm thinking, oh, did they just not do a very good job dressing it up? Like
No.
where they've got sweets
What are you
pinned
talking
onto
about?
the wall and in like one layer thick, rather than having tons of them. But the businesses like the Cabin are closing left, right, and centre, aren't they?
I like the Cabin set. I like their 15-year-old CDs behind the counter. They put them there because obviously they think everyone's going to want to steal whatever boring music they've got. I like all their horrible cards. It looks exactly like a corner shop.
I just think maybe they should put it out of its misery.
You're talking absolute
It's 50
nonsense.
years old now.
Well, you're nearly 50 years old.
I do. I think maybe
that is the most
time.
controversial thing you've ever said, and it's the most I've ever disagreed with you on this show.
Turn it into something else. Especially when Rita goes.
Turn it into what?
I don't know. Somewhere else, another eatery. So they've got a choice of 3 places to go.
Mr. moans about them going out to eat all the
No,
time.
I'm saying give them a bit more variety.
Make it a Greg's.
Or just turn it into a house. You could do, couldn't you?
I
Knock
cannot
down from
believe
upstairs.
what I'm hearing. I want everyone to write in.
I just think it's a bit sad seeing it on screen at the moment.
I really don't get that at all.
Oh.
Okay, so Maria's not. She thinks they should close down as well because she can't find a nice card, and she's saying, we're putting in effort this year. Gary's put shelves up for me. Wonder what beautiful rose gold ornaments they will find to adorn those shelves." And they've been through some bad patches recently. She tells everybody for some reason. Gary shows up at the community centre because Noah's just had one of his conversion therapy group meetings and a bunch of people are leaving, and Gary's like, "Where is Noah?" And they said he's helping a parishioner apparently, and he'll be back soon. Like the community centre is his office, which makes no sense.
Yeah, what's the parish of?
Yeah, what do you mean parishioner?
I thought that parishioners were just literally people who lived within
Isn't it like
a legally defined parish?
Yeah, it's like a constituent.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean what they think it means. Anyway, Gary was so funny, right? Because he's got this pent up rage, and he's got nowhere to direct it except to rip up Noah's little leaflets.
Oh, that was funny.
And then he throws them angrily, but they kind of like waft, don't they? Because they're just paper. They can't.
Yeah, I love it.
He's like rah, whoa.
Yeah.
And then it looks like he's throwing confetti everywhere, which is not, I don't think, the effect he wanted to create. So Maria sees Noah by the tram station. They walk down the road together, having a bit of small talk, which is when is it Noah or Theo?
Theo, sorry.
Two different people.
Excuse my notes.
So Noah, it's not Noah, it's Maria and Theo. And she says, "Where's Gary?" And he says, "Oh, he's pricing up an extension in Worthington."
We did struggle with Wednesday's episode because we had a friend round who talks an awful lot, and she was talking all the way through the episode.
I told you, I don't know why you thought this would be any different.
On.
I like the subtitles on because if you miss something, you know what they've said.
I don't like the subtitles.
Why?
On. I just makes me feel like. Makes me feel less of a man if I got the subtitles on. Real men don't need subtitles. No, I like to be able to immerse myself fully in the world of Weatherfield. I don't want floating writing above it.
But do you not think that having to take notes takes you out of the world of Weatherfield?
It does a little bit, but I don't like.
But isn't it more efficient than rewinding every 5 minutes because we didn't hear something?
Well, I'm looking at my laptop screen half the time.
Well, then we'll have the subtitles on, please. All right, well then I'll watch it by myself.
No.
Maria finds...
Talk about this later.
I don't get it because when I'm watching it, we're not watching it for fun. We're watching it for the show. We're watching it for this
some
podcast.
weeks it's fun.
We're watching it to make a podcast out of it. This is why we need to go back and understand what's happened.
Okay.
So I learn better when I'm processing information in 2 ways at once, which I am when I'm reading subtitles and watching what's happening and hearing it.
Okay.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I see.
And when you ask me what happened then, half the time I'm like, I don't know. But when the subtitles on, have you noticed I know more, I remember better, because it goes in my head in a different way.
All right. All I'm saying is I bet Gary's turned the subtitles off in the Maria Connor household this week just to try and, assert his alpha male dominance of the house.
I bet there's a pair of glasses that you can get that you could use and it hides the bottom of the screen. So you can look through your special subtitle-less glasses and I can see it normally. Or maybe we could get me one of those Apple Apple
Oh,
glasses.
Apple Vision Pro.
And it would have the subtitles on just for me.
No, if we had an Apple Vision Pro, I wouldn't take it off.
You wouldn't let me have it then, would you? So
I'd watch Corrie with it on, and you could just watch it on our big TV. Anyway,
this is too much private information. Maria finds.
Do you watch with the subtitles, listeners? Let's just involve them in this.
Most people do now.
I know, it sickens me. I really don't like subtitles on. It makes, well.
I watch lots of things with subtitles. The only thing I don't really like is comedy, because you read the joke before they tell it, and then it's not funny anymore.
Very true, very true.
I wish they could time comedy subtitles to the joke as they're saying it. I think that would be a good way of doing it. Anyway, Maria finds Gary in the community centre. She nearly gets brained because he thinks that it's Noah coming back, and he says, "How did you know I was here?"
He's a hammer, isn't he?
And she says, "I've got a tracker on of you on my phone," which is like, okay, Maria. Because she said he went missing that time and ended up in hospital, so now she's got a tracker on his phone.
That made me wonder whether she could track the fact that he was...
She will know that he beat up Theo.
But I don't know whether she will, because if it's just your normal, you track me, don't you, with your Find My Family thing on iPhone.
How long it's going to
take
you
can't find out where I've been, can you? You can only find out where I am. Is that right?
That's true.
But if she's got the trollop tracker on, then maybe that's got secret extra features that does a little map of where Gary's been. Yard pub, flat pub, yard pub.
I think
precinct, if you're lucky.
I think that her telling him that means that he didn't take his phone to beat Noah up. He's criminaled before. He knows how to criminal.
He's also been a bit useless at it before, isn't
right, yeah. So he says, look, I'm going to beat him up. He's going to beat him up. He's a predator. He's stealing people's families and pretending he's their dad. He's preaching love while he's spreading hate. He's going away saying gays are sick and they need saving. And Maria's like, oh, so what?
She'd like to say, all right, calm down, love, but then she remembers, I don't want to have him bring up when I was banging on about the environment. We've all got our causes, I suppose, and this is Gary's at the moment.
But what does he do with his recycling, Gary? Does he separate it correctly?
That's what he should have mentioned something about that to try and get her fired up, shouldn't he?
He puts plastics in the glass bin. What?
I'm going to paint a rainbow all over this poster.
Do you mind if I just do a green recycling symbol?
little arrows.
No one will know what you mean, Maria, because I made that up. Right, so it's like, she says, I don't get why you care about this. You only known Theo for 5 minutes. And Gary's like, it's the injustice. And Maria says, okay, well, we need to use our heads, not hammers. And
yeah, they just end up rainbow bombing the place, don't they?
What did you think of this? They were so happy with and pleased with themselves, weren't they, when they came out?
I couldn't reconcile. I was just thinking, well, would Maria, councillor of the parish, is she still a councillor? She's literally graffitiing the community centre.
She is.
That's not going to go down well if the papers get hold of this. Get Suki Waters on that, and then Maria's in hot water herself. It's just not
right. It just plays straight into people's hands, and it's exactly what happened. Like, I'm sorry, but you just can't. If you disagree with somebody, let them speak, and everyone can hear how terrible they are. I don't think most people agree with Noah.
No,
I don't see. I understand that it is like what he's saying is hateful, but there's people that have chosen from their own, that they've decided to go there. Let them do. You can share your message of love, but shutting somebody down like this, what does it achieve? It just makes them double down. It makes them feel like they're justified in ostracising themselves.
Well, obviously it didn't do enough to completely get rid of Gary's rage, because he does head out later in the evening, doesn't he? There's only so many leaflets that you can tear up, and then if you've still got a little bit left in the tank.
Painting those rainbows really didn't make me feel any less angry.
Maybe was thrilled about it.
Do you know what's hilarious,
though?
That
was the naughtiest thing I've done in years.
I bet when they were doing it, they were like, oh, do you know, this is a massive ball ache, isn't it, to do a rainbow, because we've got to get all the different pots out.
Yeah.
All the different colours. And then they would have had to have made sure that they cleaned their brush between each one, because they wouldn't have wanted to get the colours mixed up. So they would have been there for hours going, oh, do you know what? We should have done all of the red bits of all the different rainbows first, Gary, because this has taken hours, because we're doing each one separately, washing our paintbrushes like all.
I know, I wonder how long it took. I mean, they're lucky that they didn't get interrupted by a dementia choir coming in. Imagine them walking in and Gary saying, "You'll forget everything you saw here." And they go, "Yeah, we can do that."
Yeah, no problem.
What did we see? I don't know. Is it Christmas?
What's going on?
It's all right. Coronation Street made fun of the dementia choir tales. It's not.
We're joining in.
Yes.
So anyway,
we just want to feel cool in front of Debbie.
Yeah, we want Debbie to like us.
We want Debbie to be our friend.
Yeah, we do. Todd asks Theo what's up later, and he says Gary is not replying to my messages, and I'm a bit worried about him. And Todd's like, oh my God, Gary is very violent. Did he tell him that he killed somebody, or was it just me talking?
He spoke to Maria. Brought up Rick
Maria
Neelan,
did,
didn't
yeah.
she?
I don't know who knows that he killed a guy because it still hasn't.
I'm going to say it's not very many people.
So it still hasn't had justice for that.
No.
So Theo gets back to the community centre and it's been vandalised by the woke brigade. Oh my God, there's rainbows everywhere.
No. That's I've got the name wrong again. Noah goes back to the community centre, and you shouldn't just take my notes as read.
Maria and Gary are pleased with themselves, but then Theo and Todd came round and they're like, look, Noah's put it on Send PX and called it a hate crime.
Oh yeah, he did a live stream of his discovery of the art bombing, didn't he?
Maybe, I think Noah's going a bit far here because it's not a hate crime to paint rainbows. It is reminding you of the promise of your namesake, the rainbow, and Noah. He should be like, oh, it's my symbol.
Why is it a symbol?
The rainbow about the floods that God sent.
Yes,
maybe that's what really annoys him about it.
Yes.
Maybe he's like, you've taken my special thing that I had when I was little. I always used to love the rainbow. Now you've turned it gay. I can't believe it.
Yeah, maybe that is all it is.
They should write that in because if I was Noah and I hated gay people and the symbol of my story in the Bible had been turned into a gay symbol, maybe this is what's fueling him. Just continuously seeing this rainbow everywhere, going, no, it's a sign from God. It's not about gay people. So he's mad about this, and now he's playing the victim, and they've made things worse. Maria and Gary look like, oh yeah, we didn't realise he wouldn't like the rainbows and the graffiti that we put all over his stuff. Also, was the Little Big Shot signs anywhere? Have they been vandalised?
Glenda would love a rainbow.
Yeah, she'd come in and go, why are there no rainbows on my Little Big Shots things? I'm trying to get into a new market.
Yeah.
Can't believe it.
Little Big Shot is fabulous.
I don't imagine that Little Big Shots needs to get into the gay market. I think it's already there.
I feel like Little Big Shots has just dwindled out of existence.
She mentioned the poster down. She mentioned it today because she said that the dementia choir tried to steal her Saturday morning slot.
Oh yes, she did, didn't she?
And she does, we don't watch her on a Saturday, so who knows what she gets up to.
Yeah.
So
they showed the community centre on classic Coronation Street this week, or it might have been last week, because I'm still a little bit behind on this, when they had where they found the bomb in Claire and Ashley's garden, and the whole street got evacuated to the community centre. It's bloody massive. I don't know where it was supposed to be, but they actually booked out it's got a stage and everything.
Oh,
so
classic.
I think the Victoria Street one's quite a downgrade, I'm going to say.
Yeah. So Danielle comes around to number 11 and tells them Noah is in hospital because she accuses Theo of battering him on the way back from prayer group. And he's like, oh no, I didn't know that. I didn't do that.
Thank you to Coronation Street for sparing us the hospital scenes of Noah there hooked up to the
God.
Small mercies.
Gary, we see as he's sitting down to tuck into a delicious anniversary takeaway with Maria, has got a bit of blood on his beautiful white top. So he covers it with his tea towel. On Friday, Theo and Todd are talking about the beating. Who could have done it? Then Gary comes in and Theo goes up to him and says, hey, did you do it? And it's like, shut up. Then Danielle texts Theo saying, you've gone too far. You're never going to see your kids again. Because apparently these children have got no autonomy of their own. They look old enough to be able to decide if they want to see their dad. Theo and Danielle
within a few years.
Are acting
Minnie's
as though
16, is she? Or is she 15?
They're acting as though they're toddlers. Also, the last time Theo saw them, they weren't that bothered about him anyway.
But I think, do they quite like Noah? Because if they've thought, if they think that their dad has beaten up Noah...
No, Danielle doesn't need to get involved in this at all. She just needs to tell them what she thinks has happened, and they'll probably decide for themselves they don't want to see their dad anymore. And if our suspicions are correct and Theo actually is kind of a bit of a violent domestic abuser, he's probably beaten them up as well.
Oh, yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if he hasn't done horrible things to them and manipulated them. And the longer that they're away from him, the more they're going to realise what he's done to them. So anyway, he's mad about this, and Todd asks him, like, did you beat Noah up? Because you did go out, didn't you, for a little bit? And Theo's like, no, I definitely didn't. And then Todd says, well, what do you think Gary did? And Theo's like, look, it doesn't matter who did it. The thing is, everyone thinks I did it. Speaking of which, Lisa comes in and she's like, Hi Theo, you're my first caller. I'm so excited to be back on the job. Get in the car because you're under arrest.
Back to arresting neighbours, just like good old days.
Yeah. He's like, oh, I didn't touch him, which is, she's like, I'm here to arrest you for something or other. And he goes, I didn't touch him. She's like, didn't say who it was, did I?
I thought that she did.
No, I don't think she did. But he just blurted that out. So he gets interviewed, and it turns out it wasn't Noah. It was an anonymous member of the public who saw Theo in the vicinity, and Noah didn't actually see anybody because he was jumped from behind. And Theo's like, he's framing me. I was home all night with Todd. So Lisa asks Todd, and he says he can corroborate that is true. So they all get to go home, and they're talking about who it could have been that said that they saw Theo there. And they think it was Danielle, and they're stitching him up.
Yeah.
The three of them go to speed dial with Gary, Theo, and Todd. And Gary's like, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it, Theo. It's all going to be fine. And then...
He gives them a wink, doesn't he?
He does. He loves it.
It was like when we were in France, when we went to that place on our last day, and the waiter there was giving you a wink, wasn't he? Some men just like to... Just a little wink, like...
It's because they think they're going to get a bigger tip. So,
do you think that Carrie's expecting a tip for beating up Noah?
Maybe. Just imagine he's like, also, here's the bill.
Going back to his loan shark days.
Could you give me a review on TripAdvisor, please?
Well, they didn't give a tip to poor old Alia, did they?
Alia, look, this country,
guys.
Yeah, why are we tipping people? It shouldn't be expected. You get paid.
You're always telling me to tip people.
I tip, but I don't like the... I think it's bad that the idea that we have to tip is... Do you not think so?
No.
In America, you tip because people don't get paid actually a proper wage, whereas here you get paid minimum wage.
Yes.
So you don't need to tip.
Yeah, Alia.
Well, I mean, it's nice if you get one. I would love to get tips if I worked as a waitress, but you can't moan when you don't get it. It's just Alia's so entitled, isn't she? I just hate her. Everything she does.
when Alia showed up in today's episode, I was like...
She's supposed to be training to be a lawyer, right? You giving her a 20p tip or a £3 tip or whatever. It's like, I don't care. I'll be working for 50 quid an hour this time next year.
Yeah. I just the tone of the episode just drops when
Friday.
Alia walks into the room, doesn't it? And it's bad. I feel really bad for Sarah that she's just been lumbered with this character who's just so incredibly
just a drag,
dull and a drag. And
right, Theo tells Todd if Danielle tries anything else, he's not going to be responsible for his actions or Gary's.
Yes. Well, there we go. So you quite enjoyed that this week, did you?
I enjoy watching this storyline because it's so infuriating. And I really do like the idea of like Gary kicking people's bums, but I think he should start with Theo. I
thought that maybe it was better and then it fell off a little bit at the end of the week. I think it was because like some stories, like the Allahan story, we got bits of on Monday and Tuesday, but then they dropped it. And I was like, oh, why can't they have dropped this story? I just don't need it every day. And it doesn't feel like a whole lot happened in today's episode with this. Even though it did, I don't know. I'm
That's
conflicted.
all right. It's as long as you can explain why you didn't like it.
I can't explain particularly well, but when those scenes came on today, I was not so enthused. Sadly, time for them to have a bit of a break. Maybe, I don't know. Right, sway engagement then. So this was a big build up to a whole lot of nothing on Friday. Although, like we said earlier, the scenes with Carla being very nervous around the engagement were actually quite...
It was one of the best.
Quite sweet,
I
weren't they?
enjoyed it.
Yeah. So they've moved into this house. I have seen comments online which I totally agree with about how on earth could they have moved in, had a complete refurbishment, upstairs, downstairs in... It was what 3 weeks ago they decided that they were going to move there. So it's not just the moving in. You can't even
buy a house in 3 weeks in this
country. It's not just the moving in that's been expedited. It's the fact that it's just been completely redecorated. People...
Excuse me. How does anybody know that this isn't what Yasmin had put in when she was in London?
Just as she was about to...
She's like, I'm going. I don't like the marble.
Yeah, well, maybe she was finding it difficult to sell with the Nazir get up there, and she thought, what do modern people like these days?
Why doesn't anybody like my oak and wrought iron staircase?
We're still only getting like little snippets of it. I don't know whether it's happening later on today, after we're recording this, but Coronation Street has been promising a house tour of the new number 6, haven't they, on their social media, and we've still not got it yet. Well, I quite like the look of it, I suppose. But anyway, they're getting into an argument already with the neighbours on first thing on Monday morning because Betsy's been throwing their rubbish into David's bin. We never see the bins out on the street, do we? But now Monday morning is bin day. We've got to look out for it every week.
I do, yeah, exactly. I do like this beginning of neighbourly conflict because on the one side, you got David, who seriously seems like a neighbour from hell, because instead of just saying, excuse me, you've put your recycling in my bin, which would be very understandable when somebody first moves into their house, they've got a lot of cardboard to get rid of, he just throws it all over their lawn and it's like, nope, learn your lesson. Also, David the dog was barking all Wednesday.
Yeah. And we did get a slight mention of Sally wanting to go around there, didn't they? On the other
side of their house, they've got this marauding Hyacinth Bouquet trying to invite them for wine and nibbles.
I appreciate the mention in the script because I know I had a bit of a moan about it last week on the podcast that they didn't take advantage. I still say that they need to actually have the scene of it happening. Maybe that's to come next week. I literally have got no idea, but they're taking half steps between what could be quite a funny little story there between the neighbours.
Do you think that, because I do, this is a leading question, that Sally will be mad with envy when she sees the inside of their house? She's going to come home and go, Tim, they had marble everywhere. We need to change the kitchen. It's not up to scratch.
I think the Sally's house is decorated quite nicely.
I know, but it's not like their house, is it? They've got like a palatial...
I'd quite like the idea of her going round there and telling Carla about how wonderful it is, but then going back to number 4 and say, or whichever number it is, 4, and saying to Tim, I didn't like that, I can't believe it.
Oh, that would be quite funny.
That must have been Lisa that chose that decor then, because Mrs. Connor would never have put
I thought Mrs. Connor was
staircase.
A black and red woman.
Well, no, Carla would absolutely put the black staircase in.
Yeah.
Something else, I don't know.
Well, she wouldn't. The white marble feels very Lisa to me. Because I think that like any Connor, whether it's a sexually transmitted Connor or just a birth Connor, they cannot resist a bit of black, can they? They need. Even Carla's shoes are a bit goth. She's got these platform black shoes that she wears, and it's just. And also, she shops at All Saints, which is quite a gothy shop.
Oh, well, there we go.
I
do you think
like
they've been
All
snuggling
Saints
on the sofa watching Wednesday this week?
Yeah, why not?
So the subject of art classes comes up because they find a leaflet. There's just leaflets all over the place this week in Weatherfield, isn't there? What does Councillor Connor have to say about there just being leaflets littering the floors?
Yeah, Maria's like, I can't believe they've printed this out. This is ridiculous. Do you think that Stephen Brent is just moving into another... The magazine trade's dying. He's moving into leaflets.
Could be. There's this one about art classes, and Carla said, I did an art class once to try and wind Paul up, and Lisa's like, that sounds like my idea of hell, but she does take the opportunity to book them the final couple of tickets on the class, just to be lovely.
What happened to that concert festival that she and Betsy were supposed to be going to?
I think they went. I think it happened. Yeah, so Lisa comes around the factory later and says, hey, guess what? We've got tickets to this life drawing class.
It's neon life drawing.
Yeah, and I don't know. There didn't seem to be many, if any, other people there at the class. Some very closely framed shots there of Carla and Lisa, just to hide the fact that they didn't hire anyone else to be in the scene. And there might have been one or two other people. I don't remember.
They didn't even have a model, did they? It was some kind of statue.
Yeah, well, they were expecting that to be somebody with their kit off, didn't they? They thought that Nick would rock up again and say, "Don't worry, ladies, I've done it before in my different body." But what were they painting in there? Was it a statue?
They poured some kind of neon paint onto something, and it looked like fun, but really it was just an excuse for us all to watch Carla and Lisa boop paint onto each other's noses.
I thought it was, honestly, I did enjoy that scene. I thought it was quite sweet.
It was very cute.
All very soppy and cute.
But why did Lisa not wash her face for hours afterwards? She's walking around like, oh, this looks a bit like war paint. Yeah, maybe.
Maybe Gary hasn't actually beaten Noah up at all, and he just went to a painting class.
Yeah,
and that wasn't blood on his shoulder.
It's just neon paint.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we didn't see anyone else there. He could have been sitting the other side of one of those easels.
It could have been, couldn't he? Anyway, it was all very cute, but it gets interrupted by Betsy calling Carla up. So they go back to the factory. I didn't really get what... So Betsy
was in charge
designed a top.
No, she was supposed to be printing text onto fabric or a pattern onto fabric, and the way it came out with the font that she picked, it looked like it's supposed to say "burn baby burn," but it looked like it said "bum baby bum."
Right, so it was a Tyrone reference.
Yeah, maybe. But shouldn't the client have picked the font already?
I don't know how these things work.
And she supposedly have printed tons of these. Can I say, I would buy one of these. I love stuff like this. I love weird English text on things that doesn't make sense. It's like one of my best hobbies to find. You can't find it very well here.
No. You go around with Halloween tops most of the year, don't you?
Yeah.
That say various.
I do.
Yeah.
I try to keep the Christmas to November and December, but it's just because I don't have very many clothes that fit me anymore, so it's all just Halloween themed.
So it all turns out fine, basically, and Carla realises, or she tells Lisa that, honestly, I quite enjoy Betsy's mum. I'm starting to feel like she's my kid.
I'd be annoyed if I worked at that factory, because Betsy gets treated with kid gloves all the time.
Yeah.
Just because she's Lisa's kid. She's made a mistake here. Anyone else get ripped to shreds, and she's like, "Oh, just come up with something different."
Oh, Carla's just got soft in her older age,
told Betsy to come up with a different slogan, and I don't remember if she did.
I think she did. I can't remember whether we saw what it was.
Why didn't you write it down?
I don't, because I said I don't think I remember. I don't know. I don't know whether they said what it was.
Maybe she was like, "I have come back, Carla, and I think we should just go with bum baby bum."
Anyway, Lisa.
The question is it bum, baby bum? Or is it bum baby bum? Or is it bum? Bum baby bum.
Anyway, look, they go back home. Carla tells Ryan about such a lovely day booping my girlfriend Ryan.
Oh, okay. I thought we'd gone back in time.
No, Rana was the other ones.
Yeah.
And she says, "I'm gonna propose to her," and he's like, "Oh, he's dead chuffed for this." So this kind of sets the tone for it's all very lovely and soppy for the rest of the week. Wednesday rolls round and Carla comes downstairs. She's had a bad night's sleep with David the dog barking away.
Hang on a minute. Did she actually say it was David the dog? Because I like to imagine that David, the man, has gone into the garden and just is barking at the moon to wind the new neighbours up.
It could have been.
Arf, arf, arf. It's the sort of thing he would do.
And this is when they talk about Sally wanting around for nibbles as well. Then they also have Kit kind of reconciling with Lisa, but that doesn't really go anywhere, does it? It's all about the rings. And there's a scene in the factory later where Swain almost, she shows Carla some rings on a laptop, doesn't
Carla,
she?
with this. She's like, "What do you think of these?" And it's a bunch of duos of rings. And Carla's like, "What?"
Yeah, but she just wants to get them for her and Betsy, doesn't she? So Carla is taken, almost caught unawares with a proposal from Lisa of her own, but no, she just wants to get rings for her daughter.
It's funny that Lisa is the one who proposed first, and she didn't put it together that if she showed Carla a bunch of rings, Carla might think she's back on it again. Mm. And also, it is funny that they're they've obviously bought this house together, which involves signing lots of legal paperwork that kind of links you in very real and annoying ways should you wish to split up. But they haven't talked about the other annoying paperwork that you can do.
They had to do it very quickly. They probably didn't have time to talk about the marriage side of thing.
But they would have had to have really had the thing is, they haven't addressed this at all, and they never will on Coronation Street. But when you buy a house with two people that aren't married, you do have to go through this whole rigmarole of who's going to put what in, how much is going to come out of the end of it, how much interest have we both got in the property, is there a disparity between who's putting in what and how much they're paying. Because when you're not married, you have to... We did this. We weren't married our first house we bought. Don't tell anybody. And so your mum and dad made me sign... Well, I haven't forgotten this. They made me sign
you haven't.
all this stuff to say I wasn't going to steal your money. What money? I don't know.
Anyway, that's basically it for that episode. That Carla is still getting ready to propose, and she's all nervous on the beginning of Friday's episode because she's got the engagement rings through the post. And I thought this was quite. They're doing quite a good job of making it kind of sweet and soppy, aren't they? Because she ends up kind of swooshing the packet over to Ryan when Lisa comes in, and he has to pretend that it's a pair of pants that he's ordered online.
Yeah,
and he's like, and she's like, oh, it's a bit small,
Lisa
isn't it?
interrogates him over his pants. She's still got it.
I know. That's why she's back. She's best after
flexing
the
her
death duty,
muscles.
isn't
Yeah.
she?
So has Carla only bought an engagement ring for Lisa, or has she bought two?
Oh, I don't know. I thought
said
it was just one
rings,
because. No, you're right. I think it was just one
one
because, well, maybe she's just got one spare because she asked Glenda to put one in one of the glasses of champagne later.
When you feel, I'd be a bit like, oh, Lisa, your engagement ring's so nice.
Or maybe she.
But I don't have one, and it would be weird if I bought my own, wouldn't it? So I'm just
saying.
Just wondering if you had thought about getting me one.
Don't know
And
how these things
Lisa's
work.
like, I did think of getting you one, Carla, and you said no.
Yeah. So Carla goes to the pub and she preps this plan that she's hoping Glenda's going to help her put into action later, which is popping the ring in the champagne because was it that Ryan's told her you probably want to make a bit of a gesture about it, don't you?
And this was great because I love watching Carla going through this process of realising, like, I've never ever once in my whole life thought about proposing to anybody, let alone another woman.
I think lots of women don't, do
exactly.
they?
No, I know. That's why I really enjoyed it, because she's like, there are so many firsts for her in this relationship. And this is another one of like, how do I propose? What do I do? But I'm a woman. How is it different? Do I just do... What do I do? What would she like as well? Like, what... As a woman myself...
Who has been proposed to.
Don't know if you noticed. But... I would be the same way. Like, what do I do? How do I do this? Do I make a big song and dance about it? Is it... Because Carla kind of like, literally, it felt like to her, she was proposing marriage rather than making a proposal, which to me are two different things. Like, proposing marriage is like saying, should we get married? But having a proposal is like, ta-da, here's a horse with a ring on the top of it for some reason.
Yeah.
You know?
She didn't need to make it high stakes. She could have...
I'm really fascinated to know what Lisa would like, because we find out later...
She doesn't like no ring in a glass of champagne,
she didn't say she didn't like it. She just said that's already been done.
Yeah.
Go on, carry on. Tell me what happened.
Am I doing... You're doing this one. No, I'm doing this one. Sorry, I forgot. I just completely lost track of what's going on.
So she's like, put the ring... She also says to Glenda, put the ring in the champagne when the time's right, but obviously take it out of the box. You can tell she hasn't done this before.
So Carla persuades Lisa to come to the pub later with an offer of David Gray on the jukebox.
This is excruciating trying to get her to come, wasn't it? Because she's like, I don't really want to.
I love arresting people so much. Do I have to? So Carla goes to the pub and she's super nervous.
I wonder. I don't know. I know we don't know all of it, but I wonder if we could look at what proposals Carla has had, because we didn't know how. I'm not sure that we obviously never saw her and Paul get engaged, but did she ever tell anybody what he did? That'd be really interesting. Has anyone got any time on their hands?
I can't remember what happened with all her many other proposals.
Nothing ever runs smoothly on Coronation Street, so I'm sure they all had wacky hijinks.
Yeah. What do you think about ringing the champagne? Because I mean, my proposal to you was famously very naff. Would you have preferred I'd made some kind of effort?
It's because you
would
get
the ring
nervous.
in the glass done a better job?
You were so nervous. You made me scared. Like I was like, "What's happening?"
But I didn't make a song and dance out of it at all. I just took you down by the waterside
in a car park.
Yeah, I know. Thank you for that. Do you like?
That's why I wasn't expecting it, because you said you wanted to propose by the waterfront because you thought it would be romantic, but you couldn't think of anywhere to go except the ferry car park.
Well, it was near to the Pizza Express where we just been having.
We did have a lovely Pizza Express, didn't we?
How many different ways of proposing are there at the end of the day?
Well, there's all the big show, isn't there, and dancing and whatever, or like doing the jumbotron at a sports match or whatever.
Sign writing across.
Going to a show and getting the artist to say.
Oh yeah. Well,
maybe David Gray could do it. Is that his name?
Yeah. They mentioned the mariachi band proposal.
Wasn't that Sexy Mexy?
I was thinking they were talking about it being Tyrone. I don't remember, but whenever I think of mariachi band, I do always think of Eva Price.
Yeah.
But yeah,
she
just needs to go asking down the neighbours, because as soap characters, they've all been proposed to in a variety of wacky ways.
Send us your proposal stories and I'll judge them.
Yeah. Right. It can't be any worse than ours. Don't worry. So
it wasn't. I love that story because it sums us both up very much.
But I'm useless.
No.
What then?
It was just how you were so nervous. It was very sweet. I don't know why you got nervous, because I tried to propose to you about 10 times before because I was getting fed up with waiting. Do you remember?
We did.
And you got mad at me. You kept saying, "You can't propose. I'm going to propose."
Yeah, well, I didn't have a ring, did I?
No, that was
We got your ring afterwards.
Yeah.
I wouldn't.
I told you. I do not understand why women let their men pick the rings when you don't. I wouldn't even let you pick my shoes, let alone a piece of jewellery I'm going to wear for the rest of my life. Would you want the pressure?
No.
There you go.
I've no idea. Anyway, so they get there. Lisa turns up, and I love this scene because Debbie
Carla's
comes
like,
over, doesn't she? Debbie's sort of doing her own wedding planning, and she shows Lisa some mock-ups of invites or something. And Lisa's joking about Carla being very bitter and jaded about weddings, and Carla's like, "Oh, is that what you think? Is it?" And then she says,
because she rejected her proposal before.
Yeah, and then she says, "Oh, Becky had the same wedding scrapbook as you," and she proposed by putting a ring in the bottom of a glass, and Debbie's like, "Oh yeah, that's really common, isn't it?" No, I don't think she said
night at the hotel.
She didn't say it in a bad way.
Well, no, it's like
your dead wife was so common.
That's very normal. Like she said it like that happens often rather than
that's
like
everybody
lower class
does that, don't they? Yeah, every other night at the hotel apparently. And Glenda at this point
is sailing across.
I don't know, yeah, like I would have thought that Glenda would have known to wait until Debbie had walked away before doing it. But she's like, "Oh, I've poured this now. It's going to go flat."
Yeah, exactly. You've got to drink this, love.
Yeah, so she's there kind of floating towards Carla and Lisa, and Carla's just doing that bail kind of gesture, and Glenda just does a complete 180, walks out and swans back off again, and she ends up spending the rest of the episode downing the champagne herself. So good win-win for her, wasn't it? Anyway, the proposal doesn't happen, and we're left to wait for another day.
Well, yeah, because she's saying, and Lisa's like, "Is he something up with you? You're right." And she's like, "Oh, I just had some emails."
Oh yeah, some suppliers or something.
And then also later on, Carla's moping because it didn't work, and Ryan's like, "Well, it was a bit naff, to be honest with you." She's like, "What did you tell me?"
Do you think? I think that this week makes it. Is it making it more likely that a double proposal's going to happen? Because that's the ultimate of corn, isn't it? I would say.
Well, I think
corn.
A lot of people would love to see a double proposal for these two. I think it would be very sweet, but they did do it with Rana and Kate, so you're going to have comparisons.
Do you think it's going to happen soon? Is this the midst of a story, or are they going to put it to bed for a little bit?
No, I think Carla. I wonder whether Carla will just like ask her whether they're watching telly.
I think it's going to be...
I can't wait anymore. I need to ask you now.
Yeah. I think that when the scene happens, it'll just be them... Because they're clearly good at giving them kind of these soppy, romantic, cuddly scenes. And I think it'll just be in the middle of one of those rather than some grand gesture.
If they do it while they're in the bath, they will need to be careful it doesn't go down the drain. You don't want to lose it down the plug.
Very true, very true. Okay, right, time for La Casa de Casa du Casa Steve, Gemma. What's been going on with old Mac and Cassie?
You spent much time in Spain because that accent was absolute perfection.
Thanks for that.
So Monday, Steve and Cassie all over each other again. What do you think about Steve and Cassie being the new Tim and Sally?
It's not quite the same, is it?
But they are a bit though, aren't they? They're very randy for each other.
They are randy for each other, but Tim and Sally are more like they talk about what they get up to, but we don't see it. They're not slobbering all over each other.
That is actually true. I can probably count. I bet you could count the on-screen kisses that Sally and Tim have had and Steve and Cassie have had, and they'd be the same.
Yeah. I don't particularly mind. It's kind of fun.
I think it's funny.
I know lots of people just will refuse to forgive Cassie for poisoning
Ken.
Oh,
it's so warm in the fridge.
Steve is a total idiot these days, but it's surprisingly not bothered me.
Well, they're all over each other. They're talking about going to do something that Tracy ribs Steve over because she's saying that you're going out the female equivalent of Tim.
Yeah.
And Amy's like, I still don't really want them to go out with each other. And then Amy sees something on the computer at Preston's, which makes her realise what Tracy's up to when she's saying, let's just do 50-50, I'll keep my business, you keep your business, make this divorce as easy as possible. So she goes and tells Steve, so Steve and Cassie confront Tracy, and they're like, you've been lying about how much Preston's is worth, and undervalued it to make it look like it's Streetcars is worth the same, but it's worth less, so... it's not fair.
Streetcars with their fleet of 20 cabs.
How is it possible that a huge business that is run by all these people and they have 20 drivers, how can it be not worth?
Down the street.
And it seems as though, I don't know why, 20 years. It seems as though they own some of the cars, which is not normal for a taxi company, but they do because they've been valeting them, because that's what Abi used to do. Anyway...
Don't need to worry about the finer details too much. It's just Tracy being a bit of a sneak.
So he's like, right, solicitors are going to hear about this. And Tracy's like, how on earth did they find out about that? And it turns out that, she finds out. I think that Mary kind of makes it obvious that it was Amy that investigated this. So Steve decides that he is finally going to move out of the house that he shares with his ex-wife, her dad, and his daughter, to go to an Airbnb for a bit while this is all going on, because it's a bit awkward.
You said it was just a normal B&B.
You said Airbnb.
No, I didn't.
It's because Amy's written on the line above.
These modern times, we can't see B&B without putting air in front of it.
Yeah. When you go to a B&B, like, sorry, is this an air one or an earth one or a fire one? We've never been to a B&B. No, I wouldn't. I don't like talking to people. I like the Airbnbs where they're like, no one will ever speak to you. You just find a key inside a box. Yes. Like you've completed a quest or something. On Wednesday, Cassie is draping herself around Steve in the cab office, and he's a bit annoyed, and he also had to pay £85 for this non-Airbnb, and he wants to stay at number 9, and she's like, oh, maybe you have to put a ring on it, and he's like, what? And she says, no, don't worry about it, I'll try and sort it out. So she asks Tyrone, and she makes out that it's only going to be for a little bit while he's waiting for the divorce. And he's like, well, okay, I guess so. I guess that's fine. Steve walks in with his bags, and everyone's kind of shocked. Well, Hope is kind of shocked. And Fizz is like, I'm not really happy that you said that he could move in without asking me. And I also don't like watching Steve and Cassie get it on all the time. And she's like, it's having another teenager in the house. And there was a bit also when it was Lisa and Carla, and they're talking to Ryan, and Lisa's saying something about you've got too much stuff in the bathroom. I'm like, oh, I'd hate to share a bathroom with a bunch of grown people that I didn't know that well.
Yeah, I'm on Fizz's side with this. Like,
all of these houses will only have one bathroom. And the amount of adults, it's not really about their bedrooms, it's about how many bathrooms there are.
Ryan should have said, actually, it's to try and cover up my facial scar. I'm very sensitive about that.
You've just reminded me.
I'm an acid attack victim, actually.
Thank you very much. So, Fizz is not happy about this, and she But Hope wants to go to a concert and they can't decide whether to let her or not.
Yeah, well, see, I told you, this story's just getting mixed up with the Abi and Carl stuff now. But in the end, they let Steve stay, don't they?
Well, they do for a little bit until Friday when Steve plays hide and seek with Doran. Meanwhile, they've got this horrible old fridge that Tyrone bought during lockdown to have an outdoor kitchen, and they get rid of it now because it's just rusted to hell. And they leave it outside, and then a man comes to pick it up. And Steve then still cannot find Doran. He's looking around for him, and now he's scared that he's lost him and he was in the fridge.
I would say that Doran would be absolutely terrible at hide and seek because he can't keep his mouth shut.
Also, this kid was hiding for a long time. Kids get very bored very quickly. There's no way a kid would have hid that long in a toilet.
Doran needs constant stimulation.
I think so. So he gets found in the outhouse by Carl, and nobody can account for how Steve didn't find him in the outhouse.
I know. If I'd worried that I'd lost a kid,
I would look everywhere, including the outhouse.
Yeah. Like,
and the garden.
If I thought that it was probably in the fridge that has been sitting outside the front all night, I'd probably think, I'm going to look in the garden.
I would have looked in the garden to start with.
I think that was a bit of a...
Nobody explained that.
Bit of a plot hole, or just a bit of a stretch of the imagination.
It would have been better if Doran had snuck in through the back gate and then told Carl, I'm going in the outhouse.
I don't know.
But anyway, Carl knows he's in the outhouse and he doesn't say anything straight away for his own purposes, which we'll get to. But Tyrone is very mad at Steve because he let him run off and he didn't know where he was. And then there's an awkward bit where Cassie's like, oh, Steve hasn't had a kid for ages. Think about how old Amy is. And everyone's like, oh, you forgot about Ollie. Ollie died. And Carl's like, oh, that's sad. That was awkward. Tyrone tells Steve he's got to move out. It's gone too far. And so Cassie then says, I'll sneak you back in later on when everyone's gone to bed. I do not know.
Recipe for disaster, that is.
I also really love the way that Steve brought with him a spiralizer.
Oh, yeah.
Like, that Steve doesn't use a spiralizer.
Well, I think they said that this is probably Tracy's. And
he's just taking it. Like, you're not having it. I'm going to get a courgette and shred it up.
I do feel bad for Steve because he is, like, they made a comment today about him being homeless, and he really is, isn't he?
But he's not, though. This is what annoys me. So many of these characters don't have a house because they haven't bothered to get one because they can't be, the writers, want them to live with someone else. This man owns a business.
Have Debbie and Ronnie moved into the streetcars flat yet? I can't remember because Steve could just end up going back to there, couldn't he?
Why doesn't he move in with Leanne?
Oh yeah, it is a bit of a sorry state of affairs when a character with the street pedigree of Steve hasn't got a fixed abode.
This is what happens when you marry people millions of times. You end up having to cut everything in half with the divorce every time.
He just needs to go and move into the precinct. There's probably a few flats free
there,
why
not?
Aren't there? Right, so the other half of this story was tied up with Abi and Carl and the whole bum gate. And she's still just giving sexy looks to Carl at any opportunity that she can.
I can't remember.
And making up the fact she's got a migraine so Kev can send her home from work. It sickens me.
I can't remember where they left it last week about whether they were going to have an affair or not, but they were back on again and then back off again.
I don't think they were ever off. It feels like, the number of times during this that Abby's like, oh, no, we can't. Oh, go on then. It doesn't really matter where they left it because they're just going to swing back round to keeping it secret.
Who she thinks she is, Sarah Louise.
It's just horrible. It's utterly horrible.
I don't mind it at all. I don't care. I think it's quite...
I just hate how disappointed it's made me in Abi. And Abi, who was right up there with my favourite characters. And I see her now, I'm just thinking, you slag.
No, you can't say that.
Of course I can.
No, you can only call someone a slag if they're not being a slag. Otherwise, it's discrimination.
I really, really hate it. Abi was always the fun, heroic...
You've also got to now call Carl a slag in the interests of equality.
He's the man slag. But I hate how this has given me negative feelings about Abi. It's just horrible, horrible story.
You don't mind it when she blows up people's cars?
No, that's brilliant. But having a secret affair with your brother-in-law behind people's back, it's just...
Kevin's horrible.
Anyway, Well, there was even the bit where Carl comes around number 13 later, and he is like, oh, ha, 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 ha. And she says, oh, no, we can't.
What does a German say?
I don't know.
Well, he's a German. He's not going to go, ho, 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 is he? He's going to go, hum, hum, hum.
She says, oh, we can't do it here. It's disrespectful to Kevin. What? But it's absolutely fine to Kevin if they go back to Chariot Square.
Maybe they've got some kind of marital boundary set up.
It's so horrible. Yes, it would be incredibly disrespectful to Kevin to have a bunk up in their marital bed.
Yeah, don't do it in the bed.
Don't do it anywhere. That's the lesson you should be taking away from this, Abi. Sorry. They agreed to go.
I can't believe they're doing this on the anniversary of Maria and Gary's wedding.
I know.
Talk about disrespectful to the entire institution of marriage.
So Tyrone's sorting out this breakdown in the precinct later, because where else outside of the confines of Coronation Street and Victoria Street would a car ever break down in Weatherfield? Of course it's the precinct. And who else should be there but Abi and Carl, because they've gone out for a sexy day out to the precinct, because there's nowhere else in the whole of Manchester that you're going to take your illicit lover.
No, there was some reason that Carl was there, and I can't remember what.
I think they had a reason, but
he wants to get a sausage roll.
I should have seen this coming when they had the precinct set built. There's just everything happens at the precinct.
I don't mind you.
Everything happens at the precinct.
Okay.
Anyway.
You got to let some of this go.
I know, I can't. So Abi has to hide underneath the dashboard because Tyrone's there and she doesn't want him to see it. And meanwhile, you've also got Hope, who just happens to be walking past and thinks that it's a hilarious idea to take a picture of her dad's bum. I guess that ties in with her pranks on her phone that she's been playing this year.
Here's an interesting and weird question.
What?
Is this, I know this, we've heard so many stories about, overreach of police powers and, people getting in trouble for stuff. Could Tyrone get in trouble for having his bum on a girl's phone? I think technically he could.
Pornographic material.
Well, it is a bum crack.
I don't know. Although I was thinking about putting this as the thumbnail of the Street Talk short on Wednesday, and I thought I don't want to be demonetised for that.
No, exactly. I'm not going to get
dodgy
money.
Dodgy business. Although Coronation Street obviously had it on their YouTube channel.
Not losing money for someone's bum.
I don't know whether.
I don't
know. I suppose everyone's different, but would a teenage girl want a picture of their dad's bum?
No, I find this a bit odd. I think that she'd be mortified.
She just think it was gross?
Yeah, and find it cringe and disgusting that he had his bum. He even had a bum to begin with. Let alone showing it off.
She uses it to her advantage, or she attempts to later, by saying, "Oh, let me go to the concert. Otherwise, I'm going to spread your bum crack over the whole internet." And like everything on Coronation Street, it will go viral instantaneously. The last thing you want is a viral bum crack.
A middle-aged man having his bum crack out is gonna make anyone's phone light up.
No, but oh well. So. They have kind of gone all over the place here. Abi comes home later and finds Kevin and Jack there, and so she's been there having these illicit milkshakes from Sweet Enough or what have you, and the lads meanwhile have gone out to a shopping trip just to really make her feel guilty about it, and they've bought a load of clothes and some perfume or some potion or I don't know what it was that she really liked. So she's like, "Oh, Kev, you do know me."
Well, yeah, because it was something she didn't realise that he knew that she liked.
Yes, exactly.
What's my favourite ointment?
I don't know. You like Burt's Bees lip salve? Gotta get you about
you only know that
a tube of that if
you only know that because romantic. I shout at you when you use it because you've got.
Do you have a favourite ointment?
No. Oh, it's a trick question.
There we go. So Hope, like I said, uses this picture of a dad's ass to try and get concert tickets. But when she's showing it around at the garage, Abi, and they're kind of throwing the phone around because Tyrone's just got no control over his daughter.
I know. I felt I was.
He should have been like, "I want you to get that phone open now, and I want you to show me deleting that right now."
First of all, he should be able to access that phone without her.
Yes, he should. He should.
And I appreciate. I'm sorry, I don't have kids, but I don't see that you need a child to keep something locked when they're not 16.
I don't mind about her having a lock on it, but the parents should know how to get into it. They should be monitoring.
They really should. But I felt bad for Hope this week because the parenting was atrocious. So many mixed messages telling her she could go to a concert, but now she can't. The end of the week, she was supposed to be able to go, and then she wasn't allowed because they left it too late looking for Doran, and everyone had had a beer, so they couldn't give her a lift. But first of all, she shouldn't have been allowed to go anyway because she was being disrespectful so many times. Even some of the cheeky things she said, she'd be in her room.
Yeah. Well,
I think that they've let
their lax parenting of her go on for far too long, haven't they?
Yeah, I know, but it's not good for children to not have boundaries.
I wonder whether they're kind of going down the route
consistency.
Like when they've tried to come down a bit too harsh on her, she's just lit up the factory or the trampoline.
Can't go to the concert, can I? Well, maybe I can when I set fire to it.
So I do wonder whether they are treading on eggshells around her.
No, I don't think so.
Like they took her to Birmingham for that special let's try and make you less of a psycho bit of education.
She just set fire to that.
Anyway,
they're doing it for the comedy.
Yeah,
and obviously it's funny.
I thought it was quite funny, but Abby
infuriating watching them make all these terrible choices.
Yeah. Abby looks at the photo and she's more concerned with the fact that she's there with Carl in the car at the background, which Hope hadn't noticed before.
I wouldn't even looked.
Also, it was a really badly framed picture, though, wasn't it? If I'm taking a picture of my dad's ass, he's going right in front and centre there, not tucked away in the corner.
Yeah. Also, where were they? They weren't parked at this point, were they? They're just driving around at a really weird angle. Why was their car there?
It was all very convenient for the plot, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But
that's what we like.
I just didn't really believe the fact that Hope hadn't noticed Abby in the background.
I wouldn't have looked. I wouldn't have been looking.
You'd have been focused laser sharp on your dad's ass crack, would you?
It's hypnotic.
Anyway, Abby at the end of the episode tells Carl about this and says, Hope's got a picture of her sneaking away in a car. How can we explain this? We need to delete this picture.
Why don't you just come up with something?
No, that's what I've been doing for the last few months.
Why don't they just say, I had a migraine, so Carl was taking me to the shop so I could get one. Get medicine because I needed to get my prescription.
Exactly. But it's more drama this way, isn't it?
Why do people insist on having affairs if they're not good at lying?
Yeah. We talk about the bad parenting, but at least Tyrone did take Hope's phone away from her by Friday's episode.
I know, but I'm also thinking here...
Should have done it earlier than that.
For safety reasons, I would want my child to have a phone.
She doesn't need it. It's the summer
holidays.
She's just bumming around the house.
I would give her a dumb phone. I'd give her one of these bricks.
I'm not going to buy her a brick phone just for one punishment.
I am.
That's going to last 24 hours.
I have infinite money and children in this scenario, so I'm going to get them. I'd have a punishment phone. And if you did something naughty and I decided that you were going to not have your phone anymore, you would get the Nokia brick. And then you could only text and phone and play Snake.
Anyway... So Kevin hears about this photo later on, doesn't he? And he's very excited to see it himself because he doesn't get much thrill in his life as it is at the moment.
He just wants to see a bum that isn't Abby's.
Yeah.
She knows how that feels because she's after Carl's.
So Kevin is just like, go on, Ty, let me see the picture. And it's like, no. And Abby says, well, Tyrone, why don't you just let Hope go to the gig and then she'll delete the photo? And Ty relents and still doesn't.
This was so weird. Don't get involved.
Still doesn't say, well, let me see you delete the photo then.
No, and why is Abby getting involved? I know why she's getting involved, but why does anyone think this is normal for her to say, I know what, I'll be the terrorist negotiator in this?
No, I didn't mind that. That was just a bit of workplace trying to sort each other's problems
I guess she's like, can we stop talking about bums and get on with work?
Yes, exactly. So she phones up Carl and says, look, you're going to have to break into number 9. Hope's phone is there and hidden in the biscuit tin. Go and sort it out and get rid of that photo somehow.
Tell you what, if I was hiding anything in the house with all of those people who live in it, I wouldn't hide anything in a biscuit tin, not even biscuits. That biscuit tin must be the most looked in place in the whole house. Mm-hmm. Don't you think? Don't you think they're all mad for biscuits in that house? Probably. Can you think of anybody in that house that wouldn't eat a biscuit?
Yeah, no, you're right. So Carl goes around.
In Carla and Lisa's house, you could hide anything in a biscuit tin. So I bet they don't have carbs.
Do you reckon?
No, only when they're having their special kebabs and sushi meals.
So Carl goes round there. He ends up saying that he's going to watch the fort while Steve goes looking for Doran at the tip in a fridge, doesn't he? Mm-hmm. And so he takes the opportunity very handily to get in there and chuck the phone in the sink, which Hope discovers him doing.
What a weird solution to this problem.
I wonder whether it would have been better, because I can't remember what he said to Hope about how it got. Did he say I came in here and it just was in the sink?
No, he just sorry, I don't know what happened. This is like the nuclear option, and it's the one that's least likely to solve your problem, because as soon as she turns it on or gets it fixed or buys another phone and links it, all the photos would come back in real life.
Maybe he should have just stolen the phone, because he's basically, by throwing it in the water, he's hoping that this is going to render it kaput permanently, isn't he? So we might as well just pinch it. But it all seems very drastic.
Does he care about what Hope thinks about him? No. Why didn't he just get the phone, and I assume that it has facial recognition on it, get her to look at it, open it, delete the photo in front of her, and go, I'm doing it for Kevin because he's my brother. And he asked me to delete it for Tyrone.
Less dramatic, isn't it? So Hope ends up putting her phone in a tub of rice.
Yep.
Although it's mostly just poking out the top for half of the episode.
She didn't do a good job.
Not really.
But it worked.
It only works temporarily, because it switches on for a bit and then it goes back off again, doesn't it? But do you imagine that it's going to be fully recovered next week?
Yeah, be back to normal by Monday.
Yeah, that rice does a really good job, doesn't it?
Can you eat it afterwards?
I don't.
Or because it was
give it a wash,
soapy water, you probably shouldn't.
It'd be fine. What happened? Carl and Abi go to the bistro at the end of the episode, and Abby's kind of been thinking, this has been really risky. I think maybe we should give this up. No, let's not give that up. Every time they say, I think we should give it up, I just get hopeful, and then they throw it out the window and say, no, we're keeping this affair going on forever. Because she wants this to keep going on forever.
Well, she has a go at him though, because she says, you knew that Dorian was hidden and you didn't say anything because you were trying to hide the fact that trying to get hold of the phone, and this has gone too far now because you let somebody think their kid was dead for your own selfish purpose.
She knows that he's a bit of a bad lad.
This really reflected very badly on Carl this episode, because not letting people know. I didn't really
consider it as I was watching.
I was horrified that he knew where Dorian was and let everybody think that he'd been locked in a fridge.
My opinion on Carl,
asshole.
I think with me, it's my opinion on Carl can't possibly get any lower.
Yeah.
Anything he does, it's already rock bottom. So it's like water for ducks back to me. Like, he's done something else terrible.
Right. So there you go. You don't care.
No, I don't care. But I want this to go on forever. Is just the fate. It's just. Phrase of doom for this, because that's the last thing I want with this story, but it feels like it is. What's been going on with the Allahans this week? This is the story that it drove me mad, because it just makes me incredibly sad to see how Dev is treating his son, but also it's probably the one that I enjoyed watching the most out of them all. Okay.
Yeah, I like Asha and Aadi and Amy, but on Monday, Asha's telling Amy about what's going on with Aadi, and they're like, it's well harsh to get sent to India.
I'm glad that everybody recognised that Dev's decision to send him to another continent was maybe a bit of an overreaction.
A little bit, yeah.
And not just, you can do that.
Yeah.
You're sick of your children.
Yeah, to send him away. We used to do it to boarding schools here in this country. It's a good tradition to have.
But at least that was, in the same country at least.
Right, so, sometimes they go through wardrobes and end up in a completely different parallel universe. So Amy tells Mary about what's going on. Mary's like, I'm going to have a go at Dev. Then Amy finds Aadi, who's grumpy, in Victoria Gardens, and she's like, I forgive you for everything. And they have like a little kind of... what's it called?
Yeah, do it rekindling, don't they?
Yeah, so they go back to number one.
This is kind of what I've been waiting for years, and it's too late now, isn't it? But I've been hoping and waiting and thinking these two are really good together and the actors have got some nice chemistry here. And I knew it was pointless, but I still, despite all that, really enjoyed these scenes on Monday and seeing the two of them having a bit of soppy time together. It was nice.
They go back to number 1 and they have extreme close-up edition of Coronation Street. He looks disappointed when Amy says that they're mates. And Aadi's like, I wish we were more than mates, but I heard what you said at the party. And Amy says that I just felt numb. And it kind of isn't super spelled out, but she's obviously talking about she's got issues about intimacy after what happened with her and Aaron.
Yeah, because they end up going upstairs later, don't they? And when they come downstairs, Amy's obviously very upset about it, saying...
No, she's not upset. She's got tears in her eyes because she's like relieved.
Oh, yeah.
Like I built up this moment so much, but it was really lovely. And I don't know if, there would be a future with these two, but the fact that she was able to sleep with Aadi, she says, with someone I love, and
yes,
and the fact that she was able to kind of like overcome her fears in a really supportive, loving environment was kind of beautiful.
It was very nice. I thought that her saying that she loved him was a little bit
previous.
Yeah, I think so.
This is what I mean. This is what I mean when I'm saying I think that there's a love that comes with a very close relationship with somebody you've known all your life. Like, they've known each other for years, and I think that there's a bit, like, it sounds a bit weird, but like a brother-sister, but also very close, romantic as well, a little bit. It feels a bit like the end of It, where all the kids have an orgy to save the planet. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's kind of like he's purging her of all this negativity. And I don't know that there's a future between these two, because I think they're just too different. But I also kind of like the idea that there's this love that transcends romance almost.
I think
it's very deep because they've gone through a lot, even though they've not been together.
I wonder whether she's been having feelings of love for him for a while, which is why she found it so surprising that when they kissed a month or so ago, there was no spark there.
The trouble with the English language is that we don't make a differential between types of love, and love gets used for all the different ways, and even in a romantic or a sexual relationship between two people, there are different sorts of love. And like, for example, Carl and Abi have a kind of love together. It's different between Carl and Kevin. There's different sorts of love. And
but I think
we always try to fit it into a box that has this, this cultural baggage to it that has expectations attached to that too.
I agree, but I think although Amy has loved Aadi as a friend for a while, when she said "I love you" here, it was a romantic.
But do you think that she is mistaken in herself because she is mixing up those feelings of relief with love?
Could be.
I don't know. I think it's very complicated, but I really liked it. I think it was a really nice moment. But then, of course...
Shame to be spoiled.
It gets spoiled because Dev sends him a text message, I need you to come home. Because previously we had seen Lauren arriving.
Lauren. If you could... I'll say it about Carl, and my opinion of him can't get any lower. Seriously, Lauren, you just have to spoil everything, don't you?
It's funny because they've really worked very, very hard to rehabilitate Lauren as a likeable character. They put her in the Rovers, she's a barmaid, she gets all these funny lines and she gurns and she makes jokes and she smirks and snarls at customers, because we had that stuff with her and Auntie whatever her name was.
Auntie Rani.
Yeah, and that was, we're supposed to find her endearing and cute. But then she does this where she goes to the police and she's told them that Aadi has spiked her, and we all know that he didn't actually.
At least they do address the fact that it wasn't spiking technically.
It was so funny because we had this big old thing about when I was talking about it. I'm like, I don't want to victim blame, but she didn't actually. She spiked herself.
Yeah,
but
she just picked up a drink
by accident.
That she shouldn't.
There's definitely a huge difference with the intention.
Yeah, which is why Aadi eventually gets let off, doesn't he?
Well, Abi keeps jumping up at us and meowing for some reason. So sorry if you keep hearing us. So Jess takes him down the station. And he's told the police everything, and Lauren's like, you deserve to be locked up. and Amy's there, and she says to her, "You didn't do it on purpose." And Lauren says, "No, don't believe them. They're all like that. They're all horrible men. Aadi lied to me for weeks. He made out he was interested in me, and now he's off with you. He's just trying to cover himself." And Aadi's like, "Oh, you're needy." Well, no, then Amy's like, "Hang on a minute, Aadi. Don't retaliate to her." Like, what he said was kind of a bit gross. He was being a bit Andrew Tate-y there.
No, I don't think so. I think that I read this as Aadi just not really knowing the right thing to say.
Yeah.
Because he says, "Oh, Lauren, you're just so needy." Almost like he didn't know what to say, but he knew he had to say something to finish his sentence
But he knew the word to use, and that word is a bit of a trigger.
Is it?
It is to me as a woman, because it's like saying, you're only saying all this stuff because you want attention.
But I don't think
you're lying. Like, she's completely invalidating all of her feelings. If she thought he did it on purpose, she of course she's going to feel the way she is. She feels violated.
I do get how if I was Lauren and I'd been thought that I'd been strung along for all these weeks by this guy and he's just trying to cover his own bum, I get that I'd be mad at him, and I don't really completely blame her for reacting in this way, but I just wish that she hadn't, because I was so happy that Aadi and Amy had got together.
I agree.
And it was this fleeting moment, because by the end of the episode they're all over, and Amy, did she overreact by the fact that she jumped onto, she didn't not jump onto Lauren's side, but as soon as Lauren sort of fired back at Aadi, Amy switched from I'm
fired back at Lauren.
Well, no, and Lauren fired back onto Aadi, didn't she?
No.
She did.
No.
And
Can I tell you what I think?
What, Aadi?
Can I tell you what I think?
Go on then.
Remember that Amy has this big history with incel behaviour and like non-consensual. You know, she was raped by Aaron. All these talking points that she's heard, and women have heard this. If you're online, you've heard the way that some men talk in a really entitled and horrible way, and it's all this incel culture and Andrew Tate and all that kind of stuff about women being objects and not taking into consideration that they're human beings. And unfortunately, what Aadi did was parrot, and I don't know if you've written down everything he said or not, I can't remember, but all I remember is my visceral reaction to what Aadi said, because it's like using an unknowing trigger word. Like, there are some words that like in different countries are used as like racially charged. We don't have them in this country, but when an American would hear a word, it kind of triggers something in them and they think it's racist, even if it isn't. Right? So, for example, I remember thinking, "Oh, Michelle Obama, she's so eloquent when she speaks," right? That triggered a load of people into thinking I was being racist, because Americans are used to hearing black women being cut down and told that they're dumb and they shouldn't have an opinion. What I meant was, in this country, politicians' wives never say anything, and we're not used to we don't have first ladies. I wouldn't expect any wife of the Prime Minister or husband to say anything ever. And if they did, I'd be like, wow. So that's what I'm saying. So to me, I was confused as to why people were getting upset, but when he explained, okay, I get it. What Aadi said was like something that triggered something in my head, like he's been hearing stuff, or he said something that really felt so dismissive and misogynistic, and that's what Amy heard in it as well. And it was just one thing, but when you're a woman and you hear these things being said about you or other women to dismiss and reject you for years, when a bloke that you really like and respect says it against another woman, it just whoop. Why did he say she was needy?
I think he was scrabbling around for words to say, and it just popped into his head because he's not the best with words. I didn't feel, like, I've seen some people saying, "Oh, why are they making Aadi into a bad guy?" And I don't think they are.
You see what I mean?
He's just...
because you didn't get the context.
Yeah, but I don't think that Aadi does either. I think he's just said a word and he's not realised maybe that it would trigger her so much.
To me, it felt a bit like he did know the meaning behind it, but he was using it as a weapon to get her to shut up.
Well, he's still feeling very embarrassed about the whole situation anyway, isn't he? And he just wants to shut her down because he doesn't want to talk about it. Yeah, and he's finally got together with Amy after all this time and he just wants her to go away. But I don't think that there was any real venom meaningful venom in what he said. He just wanted it to go away so he can go get back to Amy again.
It's kind of like, like just like a man. Okay, for example, if you're walking down the road and a man catcalls you and you're like, bugger off, then the man will often go, oh, you slag, because it's a word that men can use against women to make them feel bad about themselves. And this kind of felt the same way.
Maybe.
I know a lot of people were going to agree with you.
Yeah, I didn't feel bad for Aadi, and maybe it's just because I know that I sometimes... No, I didn't feel... Sorry, I felt bad for him. I didn't feel like, oh, Aadi, I can't believe you said that. That's horrible of you. But maybe that's because sometimes I say the wrong word as well and end up inadvertently getting you mad. Yeah,
there's... The thing is, language is so loaded with meanings, and sometimes they're beyond our understanding, that the cultural baggage that comes with certain wording and phrasing will trigger somebody into a reaction, and all you can hope for is to say, I genuinely did not know that word meant, in the context I used it in, something different to what I meant.
Because she's
and you have to also they're going to have to, honestly, they're going to have to look at it and decide for themselves whether they think that he meant it that way or not.
Some of what Lauren was saying, though, I totally disagreed with. When she was saying, oh yeah, he puts on this front of being sweet and sensitive, but actually he's not. But I still think that he is. I think that he accidentally got himself into real hot water. He's desperately trying to backpedal with this. He desperately has always been feeling that he's never good enough for his dad. I don't think he turned mean, and when he was trying to cover her, yeah, it was a silly thing to do. But I don't think that he did it like, oh, I'm gonna trick her, I'm gonna manipulate her. There was none of that. He was just scrabbling to try and keep it all under wraps.
We watched him, and I totally sympathise with where he went with everything and why.
Yeah.
But she just had the rug pulled out from under her.
Well, and the fact that she's been through the whole Joel thing.
She is right. The last time a guy did the same thing, he just wanted something out of her. So now I'm interested to see where her character goes, seeing what I've seen of her Coronation Street desperately trying to make her into a sort of comic kind of like stalwart character that might be around for, decades.
Well,
being
no,
a barmaid. But if she flips,
half of the other blonde girls.
Well, no, but if she flips now and says every I don't trust men, I'm gonna be a toxic character because every time I open up, I get manipulated by guys. It's going to be very tough to reconcile those two elements of her character. And I don't know what I'd rather have, honestly, a kind of a comic Lauren or a tragic Lauren.
Lauren. I
don't think you can have them both in the same character. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
I don't think you can have her sneering and gurning in the bar and then the next minute doing this.
I just ended the episode feeling so like, oh, Lauren, you utter cow.
But I totally empathise with why she did it.
I do, and maybe that's another reason that I'm mad about it. But I wish that we could have just had just this little bit longer of Aadi and Amy together, whereas what actually ends up happening is Amy goes back home, has a cry with her mum, doesn't she, and says maybe you should go to India. But then that's the end of that.
From the perspective of like Lauren, why should she be nice about what happened to her? I know. But this is what I mean, though. This is why I hate it when people say just be nice, be kind. Women should be kind. You don't know what anyone's going through. Well, you don't know what we're going through. Why should we be kind to people that are predators to us? It's crazy.
But Aadi wasn't preying on
I know,
Lauren.
but this is what happens, though. You've got to protect yourself. Women shouldn't be kind as a default behaviour. This is how we end up in these situations.
Well, I wish that Amy had been a bit more understanding then.
You should be assertive.
I wish that Amy had kind of gone back and thought maybe I was a bit harsh on Aadi. Let me speak to him or something. But we didn't get any of that.
I wish I could watch that scene back again. Maybe I'm building it up into something that it wasn't in my head. But all I know is that when I watched it, whatever Aadi said made me go, oh, no.
Whereas me, it's like, yeah, Lauren, you are needy bitch.
No, you can't say that, you incel. Right, so on Wednesday, Dev is like decided that he's got to sell the chippy, and everybody's watching it going, oh yeah, I forgot
all those scenes at the chippy that we'll now be losing. And he says, give it back to Wong, get Scylla and Yana back in.
Yeah, Wong's
happy
chippy.
Days.
So she says, look, let me sort it out. So she gets Brody in and says, look, why doesn't Brody work in the shop and it will solve all your money troubles? I can't believe for 1 minute that this makes sense unless he's working for free. Dev's like, no, I don't really want him working for me. It's not like Brody comes with some kind of amazing shopkeeping knowledge that is genetic.
There was probably a plan there that I just didn't pick up on, but Bernie thinks that she's got the solution to all his problems, but he obviously knows that Brody's a bit of a bad lad.
Well, Aadi comes in, he's like, no way, I'm not having him work here. And Dev's like, hang on, Aadi, this is none of your business, actually. And Aadi tries to defend himself about what's happened with Lauren and say, look, no, I didn't spike her, she spiked herself. And Dev's like, no, it's all just semantics.
Good for him standing up to his dad. Dev has
been... this is good.
Dev's been horrible. And I do get it as well, because I love Dev. I'm not down on Dev in the same way as I'm down on Abi at the moment. No way. But Dev
doesn't listen.
And he's put his trust in Aadi, and I think that
it was a double whammy of being let down.
He's built up like Aadi is going to take on the family business and
this is my legacy.
Yeah, exactly. And he's spoiling it, and he's getting drugs involved, and But he was far too harsh.
He really does swing between like being the nicest man in the world and like the scariest.
Yeah, it's tough love, isn't it? He says, "You are sleepwalking through life."
Yep.
You're worse than Brody, because you almost think, because wasn't there part of the scene where he kind of looks like he's defending Aadi, and then just with Brody being there, and then when Brody and Bernie scuttle off, Dev's like, "No, I'm not forgiving you whatsoever. You're still going off to India as far as I'm concerned."
Well, because Aadi says, well, if this Brody you love so much, he's the one who brought the drugs to the party.
Oh, yes, that's right.
And Brody's like, yeah, I did. And Bernie's gutted. Dev's like, well, Brody, you get lost. Brody calls Aadi a nepo baby and Dev a pound shop poser, which I adored. Great. And then they leave. Aadi tries to say thanks to Dev, but it gets yelled at. He says, you're worse than him. Show some grace. Show some self-respect.
Worse in that, he's had all this great upbringing and he's still doing
You're a nepo baby. Yeah. He is a bit.
Little bit.
Not everybody got golf lessons when they were old enough, like, calm down, Tiger Woods.
The club was bigger than him.
So back at home later, Bernie's telling Dev he needs to make things up with Aadi, and Dev's like, no, I'll think about it, but you go to Stonehenge with your friend.
That was odd.
I know, they were supposed to go, and I would adore this, tracking down the ley lines, lovely. But she's going to have to do it with her friend and not Dev.
I think that's a little bit silly. I don't think
Dev is going to be that into it. And also, if Bernie wants a spiritual holiday, I think she should go with Aadi to India.
It's not the best start to a marriage relationship that through choice you don't go off on your honeymoon together. And I get that Corrie just maybe in the future wants to have some scenes between hopefully some kind of reconciliation scenes between Aadi and Dev without Bernie being there. But it struck me as a bit unusual that was the conclusion that they came to.
Jane Hazelgrave was like, I thought this story would be wrapped up, but I have booked the month off, so...
Yeah, it was something like that. It felt
I'm not going to be here. You're going to be all right? And Dev's like, yeah.
No, I am pretty convinced that we will have some kind of lovely bonding makeup session between Dev and Aadi.
I hope
probably in the imminent future, because if he goes off to India under a cloud and they haven't made up, that's awful, because the Alahans have been such a tight-knit family.
Really.
We love the Platts because they're always at each other's throats, but the Alahans are, yes, Aadi and Asha bicker, but they're really close, and they're bonded together. Sunita's dead. I cannot believe for 1 minute that they won't make up, and I just hope it happens soon and it's got a good script writer on it, because that will make me feel better about the horrible mess they've found themselves in with this at the moment. But as I said, that was still the story that I enjoyed watching the most anyway.
Do you think of Bernie as an Alahan? Or is she just a Winter Brown?
Yeah, not quite yet.
Do you think...
And her going off on honeymoon on her own isn't making it any easier.
Do you think that Brody is an honorary Alahan?
No.
But it's funny that we've seen more of him with the Alahans than we have of him with the Winter Browns and Kit.
Yeah.
Because I think of Kit and the Winter Browns together, and then I think of Bernie and Brody with the Alahans.
Well,
Well, anyway, we've got very little time
I know
left.
we have got a wedding that we need to go to, and we still got
They're
some stories.
not going to stop the wedding because we're doing this, guys.
Right, so let's just quickly summarise then. So the Shuttleworth-upon story is basically George on Monday saying that he's got a date that he's arranged with some woman online, haven't they? And Jenny finds out about this, and she looks like, oh, that's a shame. But when somebody says, are you bothered? She's like, no, I'm not at all. But she's like flirtily sucking on a dib-dab when Ryan's teasing her about her fancying George, and she's like, I'm not interested in any of Eileen Grimshaw's sloppy seconds, thank you very much.
You got to give props to Sally Ann Matthews, one of the few women who can flirt with a dib-dab. She was good at it, wasn't
She's
she?
sucking on everything this week, isn't she? She had a little bit of red licorice last week.
Oh, there you go.
It's probably because the cabin's not been used for so long. Everything there is getting close to
They're
its
like,
use-by date. You've got to eat this
up.
Anyway, George's date turns out to be Samantha, who is an old school friend of Glenda's. And I really, really enjoyed Samantha. And I think this is possibly going to be the only one and only time that we'll see her. Although, didn't you agree to go to a... Oh, they agreed to go to a show together, but that was on Monday, and then we never saw any of it the rest of the week, so clearly that's the end of that.
I tell you what, Coronation Street is good at casting some banging one-episode women for dates.
I know.
In recent years.
Oh, I know. Well, we had Demi last year who stayed a bit longer than that, but there was also that other one during the Steve. I can't remember what she was called, but she was good. But I love. She was really kind of just full of zhuzh and bubbles, and she's like, I'm on Coronation Street, and only for one episode, I'm going to make something of it. I thought she was absolutely great, but poor old George was left feeling definitely like a third wheel as the pair of them reminisced over their time in primary school. And they talked about the little investigations that they did, and they were on the school paper, and they went around pretending to interview people.
Flashback, please.
It was so fun, but I did feel a bit bad for George, and that was kind of the end of it. Jenny, I think when she found out that George was having this date, she kind of wishes him luck with it, but obviously looks a bit sad about it on the way out because she's feeling like she does actually fancy a bit of Eileen Grimshaw's sloppy seconds. Although I don't know whether she actually would be in real life. I'm not convinced on the realism of her fancying George at the moment. But I don't know. Just give us more of this story, Corrie. Come on, we haven't seen Jenny for so long. Why are you only giving us a bit of Monday episode? Let's have her all the way through next week, please.
Yeah, why not?
I haven't looked at the previews. I don't know whether she's in it at all. But let's have more of that, even if it is going down the route of her fancying George, which I think is somewhat unusual.
The co-parenting, the Baileys. Dee Dee is struggling because she missed Layla rolling over for the first time, so she's told Adam she wants to be part-time, and he's not really interested. But we also see Alia struggling to find a job. Interesting.
Oh, how can they possibly resolve this?
Maybe Alia should take up the slack.
Is your baby rolling over for the first time? Is that a big deal?
Yeah, I think it is.
Why? I don't understand
Please
baby
don't.
at all.
I'll tell you about it later.
Why rolling over?
We'll talk about it off air.
Okay.
I do know about this.
We've got a wedding to go to. We haven't got a time for this.
Dementia, Michael.
Oh, this was just Debbie and Ronnie in the pub sort of deciding plans for their wedding do, wasn't it? And blokes flinging balls around on the string, which Glenda suggests isn't particularly
And
their
then
bag.
Ronnie's like, sounds like bolus. And she's like, it's not bolus, it's...
Yes.
That was...
It was good, actually. I don't know. Anyway... The idea of this dementia choir comes up, and I think that if they're going to go down this route, this is going to be absolutely brilliant because, well, as we saw from the wedding just last week, Debbie Webster, give her a microphone and she lights up the screen. So she's all there at the beginning saying, oh no, I don't like this. And what she was saying, I loved the impressions that she was doing of somebody with dementia.
Yeah.
Like saying, oh, well, come and take me home then, Ronnie. What did we sing today? Oh, I can't remember. It's because I've got dementia. They're really kind of... I don't know whether it's cutting it a bit close to the edge.
No, it's fine. I think it's important. It kind of reminds me of Paul's story with the MND where when he spoke to Shelley and she was making fun of it. There's a line that can be crossed. It's like when we make fun of it, we're on the line a little bit here. We're doing it because we like jokes and we think of Debbie as our friend, even though she isn't. Clearly, and it's never meant to upset anybody who has dementia or is living with somebody who has dementia. But I think a lot of people will see that there's a dark humour in a catharsis in being able to poke fun at the situation.
It was very Debbie how she reacted.
Clearly, Debbie is coping with this with humour, because there's a bit in this where Ronnie says, "I'm really proud of you."
Yeah, because they have their little fallout, didn't they, over something or other.
But he doesn't want to wear a wedding ring.
Oh yeah, that's it.
He's like, "I'll wear it for the ceremony, but I'm not wearing it, in real life." And she's
I
like, "What do you
Ronnie
mean?"
might like a bit of bling.
Ronnie seems like he really does feel like a family man who's not had a chance to have a family. Like, I feel like the way he is with Debbie and how loving and gentle and caring he is with her, it feels like he's just been waiting for his chance to have a family. And he's watched his brother, you know, have his big family, and it's not going to be the same with Debbie, but he's relishing the opportunity. So I think he would proudly wear his wedding ring.
I think he will by the time it comes round to it. A big chunky signet ring.
Well, he's got to have one so he can look at it regretfully at some point when Debbie's having a horrible moment.
Exactly.
And then he can twist it on his finger in a kind of pensive way.
She says that she'll think about the choir at the end of it as well. Now, please do it, Coronation
now,
Street. Don't just tease me with it.
In the UK, there was the Dementia Choir was like a TV series about...
Was it?
Yeah, with Vicky McClure, who's from Line of Duty. So there is kind of like an established cultural knowledge of dementia choirs.
Well, music is good for people with dementia.
I would never watched it, don't know anything about it, but I would imagine that you can remember the lyrics of songs that you know much easier, and you can probably join in the song and you feel like you know what's going on when you're in a choir. And you might not have that feeling of safety and control in most of your life, but when you're singing with a group of people, you probably feel like it's very comforting.
Yeah, I think it'd be very good, yeah. Well, when we went on a little school trip to the old people's home a couple of months ago, and they had some...
They were all just singing, weren't they?
Well, there were people there. It was, it was a load of people with dementia.
You're supposed to sing to them.
We played music for them, and the person who was running the group was saying, "Oh yeah, music is good for them," and they were having a whale of a time.
Aww, what were they listening to?
I can't remember. Was it old songs?
Was it We'll Meet Again?
Probably that kind of thing. I don't think that's really Debbie's bag.
Do you know what the sad...
I can see Debbie going into this group and taking it over.
Yeah, me too.
I want to see her come in and Whoopi Goldberg this dementia choir. You know, that's the story that I want to see at the moment.
Well, I think it's
Not
sad.
Carl and Abby sneaking around.
I think it's tragic and sad to think of us in our old people's homes with dementia singing the lyrics to Eminem songs instead of these beautiful, classic, nostalgic, like 50s.
Maybe you will be.
Trying to remember all the lyrics to the rap from Stan.
We'll be humming the Coronation Street theme tune.
Yeah, maybe.
Right, that is the end of our somewhat short street talk segment, and indeed the podcast today. So whether you're on YouTube or the normal podcast, this is the end. I'm very sorry to everyone who sent us in feedback. We will try to get it in next week.
Maybe could we try and do something for Sunday and do like
no. We'll just save it for next week. It's fine. We got a wedding to get to, and we got to get ourselves suited and booted.
Imagine
for that,
if it was our wedding. Honestly, we got married on a Friday too because it was cheaper, and I can see us if we had started the podcast then us having to do you doing it, and
we're going on honeymoon for 2 weeks. We've got to get this out of the way,
and we'd have to do, because we were very very old fashioned, so we'd have to be doing it with a partition so we couldn't see each other
on the morning of the wedding. We could do it by Zoom, couldn't we, with the camera switched off?
Okay, yeah, I only do cameras switched off.
What are you scoring this week's Coronation
I really
Street?
liked today's episode. I thought Wednesdays was a bit of a drag.
Mondays was pretty good, I thought.
I might give this a 4 because I really liked Fridays, and you gave it bobbins. I gave it banging.
Yeah, today just didn't float my boat.
I'm going to give it 4 boxers at precisely the size of 1 pair of Ryan's pants. Out of 5.
I'm going to give it 3 popular folk combos from the 60s and 70s out of 5.
Now, I want to give Character of the Week to Debbie again, because honestly, Friday was good because of her.
Friday was good because of Debbie.
She already had it the other day.
I'm going to give Character of the Week to Carla.
I was going to say, should it be Carla?
I thought I really enjoyed Carla, and I liked her vulnerability.
Yeah, as a fish out of water, really.
Yeah.
Watching her struggle and be vulnerable and ask herself all these kind of questions, and yeah, I think Carla...
Also shout out to Glenda and her mate as well, because Glenda was fairly consistent through the week, and she's always the best.
Glenda was also great with Carla.
Yeah.
I just love those two together in those scenes where Carl's like, I don't know what I'm doing.
Right, we better get sorted for this flipping wedding, hadn't we? So
You've said wedding about 10 times.
I'm showing off, but we've been invited to a wedding.
I know, this is the first
the
time.
first one in a decade.
How we do here is whether we're going to get invited to any more. This is our audition.
I'm a little bit nervous about what they're going to feed us because I am very picky eater.
I'm very excited.
And you said that we're going to a very fancy place, so it could be all sorts. You know,
I've seen the menu.
Have you?
Oh, I'm excited.
And I don't know what's going on with the disco at the end, but I'm sure I'll be sitting.
Listen, no one cares about us. We're just there to make the numbers up. All we have to do is be respectful, not show people up by being slobs, and
am I allowed? Can I have air
you can't go on
permission
your phone.
to sit on my phone?
No.
I'm doing it.
You have to go to the toilet and do it.
Right. See you next time, everybody. Have a lovely weekend. And ta-ra for now.
Bye.
Goodbye.